very good day to all. Welcome back, dear students. Myself, Mrs. Nympha Maskarnas, your biology lecturer. So, dear students, you all know that we are dealing with chapter number 5. So, we are at the end part of chapter number 5, which has only one last part, that is semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. Okay. So, here we are about to describe a typical flowering plant. Okay, description is way too easier in case of classification, because it is a very must process in case of life form, because we need to describe certain plants, certain animals just for our convenience, so that if we rely on plants and animals, we can use them in a better way, or else we can study the world which is around us. That itself needs the description, right? So here, instead of having a lengthy pages of description, like flower looks green or yellow in color, it has calyx, it has sepals, it has petals. Okay, instead of writing the lengthy method of description, we have a shorter formula method for describing a flower, right? And this shorter formula method is also called as floral formulae. Okay, formula word here means that we imply the formulae or we apply certain formulae only for those descriptions which are very lengthier and which we use in our further day-to-day life. So we apply formulae over there. So formulae are nothing but there are certain symbols, certain characters which are included in case of formulae. And in the same way, for the floral formulae, we have certain characters, you say, okay, certain descriptions, certain symbols are taken, and these symbols are written so that just looking at the symbols we can describe an entire flower. Okay, that's why we use certain floral symbols and floral formulae. Okay, is it clear? So we use certain floral symbols and formulae just to cut off the description. Instead of writing the lengthier method of description, okay, for a flower, we can just cut it off and use certain scientific method, okay, and describe a flower. Okay, and that scientific method of describing a flower itself means that it is a floral formulae. Okay, so here are certain floral symbols which you are actually looking at the board right now. So I will tell you about each floral symbols in detail. Okay, in my previous videos you have studied about these symbols in detail actually. So now you can have a glance over these symbols in this class. Okay, and I also request that to note down the symbols which is on the board to make it notes for you all. Okay, so here we can see that the first symbol is BR. Okay, BR over here means that it is a bracteate. Okay, so you all know the meaning of bract. If still you don't know, I'll just attach a photograph over there. So bract or bracteate are nothing but these are the reduced leaf which are found at the base of calyx. Okay, so reduced form of leaf which are found at the base of calyx is called as bracts, and a flower consisting of these bracts is called as bracteate. Is it clear? So next symbol is EBR. Okay, that is E-bracteate. E-bracteate in the sense you all know, a flower which do not has a reduced bract is itself called as E-bracteate. Okay, students, just remember that or just have a glance thoroughly at these symbols, because it is very important into your final exam point of view and also certain competitive exams too. Okay, so this particular part is quite very important for you all. That's why I request to have a thorough attention for this class. Okay, so we have finished about bracteate, that is symbol is BR, and E-bracteate symbol is EBR. And then coming for the BRL. Okay, BRL in the sense means that it is a bracteole. Okay, a petiole or a peduncle consisting of a bract or a bracteate is called as bracteole. And then E-bracteole is absence of this petiole consisting of bracteate, that is called as E-bracteole. And then the next thing is, okay, fifth one we can study about a plus mark into a circle. Okay, so this is a plus mark into a circle resembles actinomorphic. Okay, you all know what is actinomorphic. Actinomorphic is radial symmetry of a flower. A flower can be divided along the radius. Example, sunflower. That is an actinomorphic flower. So here actinomorphic is radial symmetry. Okay, I'll just write it short. And then sixth one is percentage mark. Okay, this is a cross and then you get two circles. Okay, so here you can see that this is a zygomorphic. How to remember this zygomorphic is, just you can look at the line which is slant. Okay, which means that it is bilaterally symmetrical because the organs or the parts which are present on this part is equal to the or is symmetric to the other part. Okay, that itself means that it is bilaterally symmetrical and that is zygomorphic. Is it clear? Here actinomorphic is you are taking the circle. Okay, circle is a part of the flower and then you are cutting it along the radius. Okay, you are dividing the radius, so you find four different radius which are symmetrical. Okay, that is for actinomorphic and this is for zygomorphic. I hope it is clear to you all. So next we can move to the seventh is, that is, this is the symbol for the male gamete. Okay, that means the flower is staminate. Okay, staminate in the sense means that it is a male flower consisting of stamens. Only the androecium part is present over here. Next is you take a female symbol. Okay, female symbol in the sense means that it is a pistillate flower. Pistillate flower in the sense means that it consists of pistil. Okay, pistil or carpels consist of stigma, style and ovary. Very good. We have discussed this in our previous video. So here this symbol resembles that it is a pistillate flower. And then if both the symbol, okay, this particular symbol resembles that it is bisexual flower. That is both male and female gametes are present over here. That is, it is a bisexual flower. Next one is K symbol. K stands for calyx. Calyx is also called as sepals. Okay, calyx is the outermost green colored layer which you see, that is also called as sepals. Then K5. K5 in the sense means that it is 5 sepals. Calyx is 5 in number and then it is aposepalous. Sepals are not united. Okay, I hope you have heard about this particular word in my previous videos. That is aposepalous is sepals are free. Then we come across polycephalus. Okay, we come across gamosepalous. Sepals are united. Okay, sepals are K5 in the bracket. Okay, here difference is the only one, that is you write 5 free and here you write 5 in a bracket. K5 in a bracket resembles that it consists of 5 sepals and the sepals are gamosepalous. Okay, sepals are united. And then coming for C, C over here stands for corolla or petals. Okay, corolla or petals are nothing but the colored part which you see in a flower, that is called as petals. So here C5 is 5 petals are present and it is free, that is we call it as apopetalous. And then C5 in a bracket, we call it as 5 petals but those are gamopetalous. Next is A, that resembles androecium, each and every one of you know, very good. And then A3 is 3 stamens. Okay, androecium consists of a unit of a reproductive part that is called as stamens. Okay, reproductive unit of androecium is stamens and A3 resembles that 3 stamens are present. Very good. Next A, 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 gives 4 stamens, which means that here there are 4 stamens but 2 holes. Okay, stamens are attached to 2 different holes, that is called as 2 plus 2. Okay, these are different, that's why we can say 2 plus 2 is 4 stamens but those are attached to different holes. 2 stamens are attached to one hole and other 2 stamens are attached to other holes. And then is 9 plus 1. Okay, here 9 plus 1 is 10 stamens but 9 stamens are attached to one bundle and 1 stamen is attached to other bundle. Okay, that's why we see there are 2 bundles over here. Okay, 2 bundles in the sense means that it is diadelphous. Okay, diadelphous is di is 2, adelphi is union of stamens. right? I hope you remember in my previous video, Adelphes, I have told you it is union of stamens. So here it is diadelphous, which means that 2 bundles of stamens are formed. 9 stamens form 1 bundle and 1 stamen form 1 bundle. Then we see C5 and A5 with an arc. Okay, C5 is, we know, 5 corolla, that is 5 petals. A5 is 5 androecium. Okay, which means that androecium which is present over here, that is attached to corolla, that is attached to petals. That's why if androecium is attached to petals, we call it as epipetalous, right? So here we give an arc over here. Arc is a must because that resembles the joining of androecium to the petals. Okay, C5A5 with an arc resembles epipetalous condition. Then 21 is A0 or A0. We can call it as staminode. Okay, staminode is sterile stamen. Okay, we all know that staminode is sterile stamen. Okay, stamen which is not able to reproduce is called as staminode. That itself is called as sterile stamen. And then G is for gynoecium or pistil, because the reproductive unit of a female flower is called as pistil. Okay, reproductive part of a female flower is called as gynoecium or a pistil, and this pistil consists of stigma, style and ovary. Okay, and then G3 is carpels are 3 in numbers. Okay, that is called as syncarpus. And then G0. Okay, here G2 is 2 carpels and those are apocarpus. Carpels are free. Syncarpus means that carpels are united. Okay, they form a united arrangement with each other. And then G0 is pistilode, which means sterile pistil. Okay, and then we all know that there are 3 different kinds of ovary based on the position of ovary. Okay, we get superior ovary. That is, we can write G up and see here, this is for superior ovary. Gynoecium is the symbol for the ovary, and if we draw a line at the base of the ovary, it means that it is a superior ovary, hypogynous flower. Okay, and then we write inferior ovary. Okay, if we draw the line above the G, okay, if the line is above the G, we can call it as inferior ovary. Okay, which means that it is epigynous flower. Okay, and then if the line is drawn in front of G, okay, if the line is drawn in front of G, it means that half inferior ovary, that is perigynous flower. So these are the different kinds of technical description which we use based on the position of ovary. Okay, I will call it again. Okay, if the line is below this G, it means that it is a superior ovary. If the line is above the G, it means that it is inferior ovary. And if the line is in front of the G, it means that it is half inferior ovary, that is perigynous flower. This is the last one, and if the G is in front, okay, the line is front in G, means that it is half inferior ovary. So there are totally 28 symbols. Okay, so you must have a thorough glance at these symbols because you can crack any of the exams if you have these symbols in your mind. Okay, these are quite very important and it is very easy to remember because on the basis of these symbols itself we will begin our next video lecture, that is about describing certain families of a flower. Okay, so this is all about today's video. You can be in touch with me until my next video appears. Okay, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. Just for today's class, I request you that you can have a thorough glance at these symbols. Make sure you will be prepared with these symbols for my next video wherein we will describe a flower using this technical description. Yes. Thank you for watching this video again.